versatility of sandpaper, and in its quest to assist carpenters, the sandpaper was created. Its rough surface made smoothing wooden surfaces much easier. Sandpaper is versatile in the sense that it can smooth or actually roughen up the surface. And you would want to roughen up the surface to allow things to adhere better to it. And because the glue gets in like the crevices, so it's kind of like a perfect fit. And according to the dictionary, sandpaper is paper covered on one side with abrasive material such as sand. And in the modern day sandpaper, sand is actually no longer used as it has been replaced with aluminum oxide or silicone carbide. The material is disposable, so once it's worn down, you simply toss and have to replace and buy a new one. And the earliest record we have of sandpaper was as far back as the 13th century in China. And according to Abrasive Oasis, they used crushed shell seeds and were glued to parchment with natural gum. Sandpaper was actually patented in the United States on June 14, 1834 by Isaac Fisher Jr. Although it has smoothing properties, sandpaper can be compared to the saw you have in your garage. And it has a number of small sharp edges adhered to it so that you could cut wood in a similar way just like a saw would. And here I have 100 grit sandpaper, and it's really rough. I don't know if you can hear that. It's really rough, but it's not sharp as in the sense of it's going to hurt my hand, but it does cut just like a saw would, and it cuts away wood. And the only real difference is that your saw can be reused and resharpened, though the sandpaper, and it has to be tossed, it's disposable. It has a lifespan of not that long, according to what you're using it with. Our ancestors were such creative and resourceful that they could turn many things. Nowadays, we could not even process a sandpaper. So like shagreen is dried up shark skin. Early fishermen from all over would catch sharks and rays. After they were caught, they would skin them and hang the skin to stretch. And once dried, they were kind of treated like leather. But this Syphax article actually states, due to the rough and abrasive properties of a dried up shark skin, that they discovered using it as sandpaper. So small granites of quartz have also been used as sandpaper and is known as glass paper. It wears fast, and with the DIY data, they believe that it's relatively suited to provide a roughish finish before a really smooth surface is attempted. And it is important to know two things about sandpaper. First, what kind of sandpaper to use, and second, which sanding tool is best. When shopping for your sandpaper, you will come across numbers such as 60 grit, 200 grit, 300 grit, or 500 grit. The numbers can go as high up as 5,000. Keep in mind, the higher the number, the smaller the grains and finer the sandpaper will be. That means the smaller the number, the coarser the sandpaper will be. Having sandpaper come so fine does not seem important, but it definitely comes in handy when you're smoothing things out rather than cutting away. When choosing the proper tool, it's best to really know what you're working with. To get rid of the gunk or unwanted spots on wood, the sheet of sandpaper is best. But when handling big wood pieces and cutting away, just kind of like the Lazy Susans that I demonstrated in my last speech, having an actual sander is better. And it is great to have such a versatile tool in our modern times. Sandpaper can provide a sleek finishing touch to wood, or it can rough it up for adhesive properties to attach things. And the multi-purpose product has provided the average carpenter to accomplish work that could have taken someone much longer to finish a project. Though it does wear down quickly, the product has developed for many years, and it keeps improving. And I doubt it won't be that long before we have some type of way of having